Welcome everybody to the Next Step Show. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Pavel Stepanov, and this is my podcast. I wanted to talk to you about why most businesses fail within the first 2 years. As you guys know, the statistics for newly formed enterprises is very gruesome. So, a lot of companies actually go out of business in the first 2 years. And if you are a startup and you started out during COVID, chances of you actually making it out of it very slim. What are the reasons why most companies fail, and what are the reasons besides the obvious, that the business owners can actually what they can actually implement to make sure that their company remains in business and don't go out in a bust. A couple of things. The proof of concept is basically not feasible. That's number one. Usually proof of concept is, let's say you have a business idea that you think is going to be an amazing business idea. You're going to work it and you're going to make a lot of money. You're going to wake up the next Mark Zuckerberg and be a billionaire. Well, it turns out that there is no much demand for your business idea. So even if you think it's amazing, great, that's fine. Your mom thinks so as well. But if the market doesn't eat it, doesn't take it, well, it's time, that to realize that your business idea is not so great, and maybe the as we know, the proof of concept is not working. So the best way to do it is to pivot. A lot of entrepreneurs are actually afraid to pivot, afraid to change, or scared to change, or do not know how to change. Well, this is actually one of the abilities of a great entrepreneur is to realize the changes in the market and to adjust to it, to slowly pivot or rapidly do a rapid pivot of the business model. What we did with one of my startups, that we started with one business idea and worked out well. Then we see that the market is demanding something else, so we've adjusted and did the adjustment based on customer demand and customer comments. Because again, listen to your market, and find out what people need. Um, Another reasons why most businesses fail is the capital, or I'd better say lack thereof. So capital, which is money. Do you have the money to run the business? Because running a business actually takes money. All right. How obviously that's the way it sounds. So there are two ways to generate money. You know, first of all, sales and cash flow, and second is investment. So let's talk about sales and a cash flow. Cash flow, like any business, it has to produce profit. All right. So it has to generate cash flow. So you need to step up with your marketing and sales. Sales is the most important aspect of any business, whatever the type of business you have. I don't care if it's a store, if it's a marketing company, if it's a real estate company, if it's a mortgage business, car business, anything. You are in the business of sales. Even though you think you're not, even though you think you are maybe a visionary, you think you're maybe a consultant, you need to have a customer who's going to pay you money so that you can actually generate profit. In order to achieve that, you need to have sales. So make sure to always keep that in mind, because that's what the business is actually made for. All right. Sounds very bizarre, but that's the way it is. In order to have sales, you need to have a viable business model, or as they call it in the industry, MVP, minimum viable product. Okay, so when you create minimum viable product, you may need to make sure that people are going to be buying it. Again, building systems for marketing, to market your product, and sales, so they can be process the leads that being generated. Okay, so that's one way to generate money for your business. Second way to generate money for your business is to bring investors. Okay, the business can be self-funded. Let's say you are aspiring entrepreneur and you want to start a business, and you have 10, 15, $20,000 to invest in your business so that you can actually build it up. Or you can go to your Aunt Betty and say, hey, Aunt Betty, why don't you give me you know $10,000, and I'll give you 15% of my company. Or go to Uncle Sam, not the United States Uncle Sam, but uncle, your favorite uncle. Ask, hey, could you please invest in me? Go to your friends. That's called outside investors. Okay, so either like self-funded, you have your own money, or outside investors. When you go to the outside investors, okay, people just won't give you money just because they need to get a piece of your company. That's the way it works. They give you money in exchange for equity of your company. So when you actually go get some money, and you're giving away equity, you're giving away essentially control of your company. So I'm personally not a big fan of that model, simply because I strongly believe that business people should be in the business of actually building the business and selling the product or selling the services, instead of raising money. I know a lot of entrepreneurs. I actually know personally a lot of entrepreneurs who are in the stage of raising money for their companies, and they celebrated like it's like a big milestone. Oh, we've raised 500,000, we've raised $1 million. Well, this is not a something I would be celebrating, simply because it means your business doesn't have any money. Okay, not yet, at least. However, at some companies, your favorite Amazon, that's how they started out. That's how they build up their presence, the market share, by giving equity to different types of investors, and you know, and basically staying afloat. All right. As you probably know, Jeff Bezos, the multi-billionaire guy who worth about $200 billion, he probably owes about, I don't know, 13, 14% of stock of Amazon. Okay, that's still a lot of money. However, he still has control of the company, but that's not your, he doesn't have a majority of the stock. I mean, he has a majority of the stock, but it's less than 50% of the company. The rest of the stock is with the investors. So again, to generate the capital, you need to figure out whether you want to go through the investment route, or you can go through the uh, you know good old fashioned sales. I prefer that. It's probably gonna be slower to build up, because you need to have name recognition, you need to have a goodwill name, you need to have the company systems and structures. You need to hire marketers, you need to hire salespeople, you need to hire all kinds of people. And if you don't have enough money to self fund the company yourself, you probably may want to explore the option of hitting outside investors. But if you do that, I suggest you go with a proposition that, if let's say you were pitching to an investor, that you will be able to buy it back. Which means you'll be able to buy the equity back. Why it's important? Because you don't want to create the company and then basically lose control of the company. Okay, that's just my couple cents, and that's what I personally believe in. And I own my company 100%. I do not have outside investors, and for the reasons is because I don't want to lose control of the company. All right. So, but again, I build my company the old-fashioned way, by actually generating sales, by generating cash flow, and paying the people that work for me. People that make sure that people who work for me are compensated first before I take a single penny. That's just the way I've been doing business for many years, and um, that's the way it works. Speaking of hiring talent, another reason why businesses actually fail, because they fail to hire the right talent for themselves. Uh, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, sometimes business owners wear several hats. They wear the hat of a marketer, they wear the hat of a salesperson, they wear the hat of a tech guy, they wear the hat of a programmer, or anybody else for that matter in the company. Do and try to do as much as possible by themselves, and they fail to actually recognize that. Um, they may not be that great in some of it. They great at something else, but not great at you know at completely different things which need to be done in the company. I suck at a lot of things. All right, what I'm great at, I'm actually what I know what I'm great at. Where I'm weak, I'm hiring people for that. Okay, um, like for example, I'm not as good at accounting or bookkeeping. Well, guess what? I have an accountant, I have a bookkeeper. Okay. I'm not great at creating the marketing content, or at least like do any kind of tech stuff. Okay. I hire people for that. I'm not a programmer or an engineer, but I do hire, software developers and developers for the UI and UX, and basically build a product who actually working on that. Okay, I this is the things where I'm not that good, but that's why I hire. I recognize that I need to hire people in order for me to grow. And this is a very important thing because a lot of people actually what they do, they try to run everything by themselves and they actually fail at that because number one, they get overwhelmed, and number two, well, let's face it, they're not that great at it in the first place. Okay, so before we actually discuss talent, let me tell you that this podcast is brought to us by our sponsor called VirtueDesk. VirtueDesk is a virtual assistant company, and if you are a small business owner and you need to hire help, it's a great idea if you actually explore hiring a virtual assistant at a fraction of the cost what it would cost you to hire somebody in house. Go to myvirtuedesk.com. It's myvirtuedesk.com, and hit the contact page and explore the prices. You can hire talent, global talent, as low as $8.60 an hour. Um, so VirtueDesk is who you need to talk to if you have any hiring needs. But let's go back to talent. So talent helps your business grow. Talent helps to um, allow you company to grow and to you know remain afloat. A lot of people I spoke with a lot of entrepreneurs, they're scared of hiring somebody because they scared of payroll, they scared of liability. They see that the person they hire is going to be a liability for them, which means you not only have to worry about your payroll, but you have to worry about somebody else's salary. And for a lot of people, that's a lot of burden to be on to think about. That's why they are, not hiring and try to do everything by themselves. However, I believe this is a mindset issue because once you actually hire somebody to do things that cost, let's say, you know, $15-20 an hour, you can focus on things that actually cost more per hour. You can actually be more engaged in building your business and actually making the connections, the correct connections. You can actually be out front there and generate more sales, while other stuff can be handled by somebody else who's more qualified to do it than you are and gonna cost way less than you are. So think about it from that perspective. This is a mindset and this is all fear. And the best way to overcome that is just to pull the trigger and hire a person who's going to be, let's say you are a business owner and you do everything by yourself, and you're thinking, when is the right time I actually need to hire somebody? Well, if you are asking yourself this question, it's the time that you hire somebody to handle the thing yourself. I mean, sorry, to handle the things by yourself already. So hire an assistant first. First start with a part time, then move to the full time, and see how it works. And usually, once you have this systems built up, it's already can be a business that can run and can be scalable. Because again, the scalability of the business, it's another reason why most businesses fail. Business is not scalable. Business cannot run without the owner being present. Because again, when is the business truly successful? Truly successful business is when the owner can actually step out of the business, go on vacation, without even opening the laptop, come back, and the business not only survived but actually became more profitable. So think about it this way. But again, you can only achieve that if your business has systems built in, if your business has certain, you know, the protocols and right people in right places. So again, added to the tally of mistakes for business owners why they fail is failure to hire the right talent. That's one of those things. All right, and last but not the least is customer. So before we talked about customers, I wanted to actually make add another sponsor to this podcast. It's Nexus Realty. Nexus Realty is a 100% commission the brokerage fully on cloud that allows real estate agents in Seattle or area or Washington State to be operating their businesses completely on cloud, online, and keep 100% of their commission. So if you are a real estate agent in the state of Washington and you are thinking about switching, you should explore Nexus Realty, because this is where you would be able to, keep more of your money. And you don't have to be at the office. You can have all the meetings on Zoom. And frankly, this is a great company to be with. So let's talk about customer. This is the fundamental aspect, and sometimes this is the fundamental mistakes people make when they run the business. Customer, you must care about your customer. Simple, right? Simple enough. However, what does it mean? You need to listen to your customer. Okay, you need to listen to your customer and absorb what's being said. Okay. Um, Also, sometimes you need to check with your customers, make sure your customers are still with you. Okay. Reviews. I personally love negative reviews. It sounds very off the topic, but sometimes people say, why do you love negative reviews? Negative reviews, I'd actually prefer a negative review than a no review at all. If somebody goes on Google and one of my companies and leaves a negative review, that gives me an opportunity to address that review, to correct the problem that was addressed in a review, and to actually reach out to that customer directly and ask them their feedback as far as why negative review was made. Okay, this is a great opportunity because let's say, for example, somebody is your customer and they say, well, they don't like which the kind of service or the product they experience, and they don't leave you any review. They just quietly not come back to you. Okay, or they tell their friends, oh, don't shop there, don't buy that product, don't buy that service, don't use that agent or whatever. Okay, this is non-review is gonna be worse than somebody who's leaving a negative review. Negative review you can address head on, and you have an opportunity to actually to correct what was wrong. Okay, or to at least to understand the customer. Sometimes customers leave bad reviews without realizing, but this is the way things actually work, and it's your opportunity to explain it. It's your opportunity to at least address that issue head on. So negative reviews actually good. Also, care about what customers say and care about how customers are doing. For example, when the COVID hit, um, and when the COVID hit, nobody knew what was going to be happening. Nobody had any idea what was going on. So at that point, a lot of our customers were actually scared, and as all of us, and they didn't know what to do. I personally reached out to the customers. I had my team reach out to every one of our customers and find out how they're doing. Number one. Number two, we actually offered some break. We actually reiterated, we understand what they're going through, and we offered different sort of breaks on and discounts for them to be able to retain our services at a cheaper price so that they could actually sustain it. We took a loss, but customers sustained it. Even though we took a loss, we had a comeback, greater comeback when they in a couple of months. So that actually showed that we were in the right uh, direction when we reached out to customers and offered them help, offered them break, because we not only gained more customer loyalty, we actually gained more other customers because they found out how we handled it and they actually appreciated it and they came back to us. We also provided information to customers about whatever we've learned about the government assistance, the PPP loans, the SBA loans. We found out about it. We did our research and we reached out to customers, gave them ideas. Hey, listen, here's what's going on. There's an SBA loan is going to be available. There's a PPP. Have you tried applying? Have you tried learning about it? Why don't you try to apply? We gave them links how to apply, and that's what customers did. They applied, and some of them obtained those loans and were able to actually retain our services. So we took a very proactive approach to that. Okay, so This is actually goes about care about the customers. Customer, you whatever your customers you have, that's your base. That's what you have to work on, and it's very important that your customer is doing great, because once your customer is doing great, you are going to be doing great. Take care of them. Also, employees. Um, Again, not to say any praises, but when the pandemic hit, we did not lay off a single employee. We did not, and let me explain to you why. I, as a business owner, I personally was ready when the pandemic hit. When it happened, I was ready to take a loss, financial loss, but I could not lay off the people that worked for me, because I recognize them as a great talent. If I lay them off, I'm going to be losing great talent. So I'd rather put money out of my own pocket and pay those people to maintain them on the payroll than lay them off, because uh, great talent is actually hard to acquire. Okay, we've spent a lot of time actually building up this great talent, training them. I mean, the money we've invested was actually way more than we would save by actually laying them off. Make sense? So the great that's why we didn't lay them off. However, our competitor laid off a lot of people. They laid off about 70% of the workforce, of which we were able to retain, and that actually gave us a boost in productivity and in growth. Because again, you need to have great people working for you so that you can actually grow. So care about the customers, care about employees, and care about your company's finances. Again, this is all comes down to this fundamentals, as I just discussed with you guys. So why businesses fail in the first 2 years? Again, money, the fear to hire talent, the proof of concept is not feasible, failure to care about the customer, and failure to care about the employees. So all of those factors, actually, that's what pretty much contribute to business failure. So again, if you actually avoid those mistakes, and stick to your passion and stick to logic, you'll probably make it. But again, a lot of it comes down to mindset. So for mindset, probably you need to surround yourself with the right people, with the right coaches or the right mentors, or sometimes actually have a grit to go through that by yourself. So again, I'm just gonna wrap it up right here. And if you guys watching our podcast on YouTube, make sure to click subscribe. Make sure to click share. If you're on watching it on Facebook, make sure to share, to comment, or put any kind of comments. I would like to chat with you guys. All right. Anyway, guys, make sure to subscribe. This is Pavel Stepanov for the Next Step Show, and we'll be with you on Thursday, I believe. All right.